Starting. Okay, you beautiful, beautiful humans. I am so grateful if you are here. I am ecstatic. I'm so excited. I have no words for the amount of gratitude that I have for you choosing to spend this time with me. And I think it's so important to share that because I know that this is your choice to be here and that you have invested time, energy, and an investment in yourself. And I take that super seriously. And I take that with the most highest respect because it's an honor to be sharing this space with you, wherever you are in your life, wherever you are in the world, when you are tuning into this. And so why I'm so excited about this webinar is there's a lot of reasons, but I'm first going to just say welcome, 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 welcome. My heart is like bursting open. It's blasted open. And this is such a full circle moment when I've been able to share this webinar or do these webinars, because I remember a time in my life when I was so afraid to be speaking on camera. I remember a time in my life when I was so afraid to go to events. I remember a time in my life when I would run away from ever having to be seen, from ever having to be responsible to impacting people when I knew that I could. And I would just do what was easy and what I knew because that's just what seemed like the best. And it allowed me to just get by and scapegoat. And so this webinar is so impactful because it's going to truly go into how to make a massive impact by monetizing your passions on social media so that you can live a freedom lifestyle. Because I remember a time less than 2 years ago that I did not know that my lifestyle was possible. I did not know that traveling the world, having a laptop, that you can work from anywhere, having the most amazing friends, speaking, collaborations, I had no clue that that was even something real. And so that's why I'm so, so excited to be here and sharing this space with you all. Because it's just so powerful. And so when you're watching this, and if you're on the replay, whatever it is, I want it to be super interactive. So if you have questions or if you have things you want to ask, you can always shoot in the comments, or I'm always available on social media or my team. So you can always reach out and we will get back to you on anything that you may have that you want to go deeper in. And when you're joining this, if you stay to the very end, I am offering something that is just for this webinar. It is literally such a special gift. I never have offered this before at this place in this way. And I'm super excited to be offering it. And yes, so with that, the things that I wanted to do, just open house items, is when you're watching this, I would super appreciate if you can turn your notifications off on Facebook, or if you have your laptop, exit out of those things, because this is going to be super high value. This is things that I have literally never shared in this way. These are stories that I have not gone public with in a very long time, or ever really, actually. And these are things that I promise you, these 3 keys, these 3 variables are truly going to guide you into not only entering into living an impossible life, but it's going to allow you to live almost a magical fairy tale, almost a world that you've kind of dreamed of in esoteric ways. And this is exactly how I've taken that esoteric dreamer wanderlust part of me and made it into a 3D tangible reality. And so if you can, shut it off, everything you do, and I'll be super, super grateful, so that way you can receive everything that I'm sharing. And when you're on here, you do get access to the replay. So you do have that, which is amazing. So anyway, if there's no questions, I'll just make sure on here with that. I am going to start, and I'm just super, super grateful. So the reason that I should say that I really believe every single person that's connected to me is knowing deep down that you are here to make a massive impact. I think that's step 1. And that's why I had named this first, how to make a massive impact by monetizing your passions on social media. Because if you don't desire to make an impact, monetizing your passions is super pointless, because you're going to end up with oodles and oodles of money, and you're going to end up with all these people that are around you that you don't really care about, or you're not really passionate about. And so I've named this webinar specifically in the way of massive impact, monetize your passions, social media, freedom lifestyle. It is literally in an order that way, which is how I've set the equation up. It's how I've seen it work time and time again for fulfilling and sustainable and lasting impact. And so anyway, before I dive into the 3 secrets, or the 3 variables which I've shared with you all that I'm going to cover today, I really wanted to just dive into a little bit of my story. And so some of you who know me know a little bit of the story. I've actually, in this way, I know that I'm saying it a little bit differently. I'm sharing some things I haven't shared before, and I'm super grateful for this, and I'm super excited about it. So, you know, a lot of people, if you know me, you know that I've traveled all over the world the past basically 18 months. I've finished my master's of science in global technology and development. I've done speaking events, I've done retreats and all these things. However, let's like really get to the core. Like, who is Colleen Gallagher? Like, who am I? And what do I stand for? Like, why do I believe in love so much? And why am I doing this? Like, why is this important to me? And why do I continuously show up with just so much love and positivity? And why do I do all that work behind the scenes? And that's what I really want to show you. I really want to show you my humanness, like the things that have allowed me to be here. And the thing that I really want to start with is, many of you may or may not know, I think some do, but I grew up in Detroit, so 15 minutes outside of it. And I had a very like normal upbringing. I was very close to my parents, only child. And all of a sudden, when I was age 14, I was like a big tomboy. So I was always playing sports. I wore like boy shorts, like tank tops. Like it was always like ponytails, like literally it was always a tomboy. And I was point guard, and I was going up for a layup when I was in basketball practice. And as soon as I went up, I came and smacked on the floor. I couldn't breathe. I was hyperventilating, like, and everyone came around me. I remember this. And I had no idea what was going on, and they had to call an ambulance. Basically what happened when they called this ambulance, I still remember it, is I got in the ambulance, and I was with myself, and my parents had to go meet me at the hospital. And I remember thinking in my head, like, is this what it feels like when you're dying? Like, is this what it feels like when you're like gasping for more air from this earth? Like, is this what it feels like to barely survive? And I remember I was thinking that really at a young age, and I was in that hospital room, and all of a sudden, like, the doctors came out and they did all these tests, and they said, your daughter has a huge, her thyroid's enlarged. Like, it was like by 2 inches. It looked like I literally had an Adam's apple. And how they got the breathing to stop is I had one of those oxygen masks on me, like at 14 years old. Like, you have no idea what the hell is going on, to be honest. You're like, what is this? Like, this is stuff you see in movies. And so, you know, your daughter needs surgery, and she has cancer, like a good probability. And I was like, what does this even mean? I remember, like, I had no idea what the word cancer meant. I had no idea what surgery meant. Like, these are all things that, like, you don't think about as a kid. Like, you're just like, oh, I'm playing my sports and doing this stuff. And, you know, so anyway, I remember that I went back to school the next day, and I was like mortified, and everyone was like, oh my God, are you okay? And like, the last thing that you want to say as a 14-year-old kid now is like, oh my God, I need surgery and I have cancer. Like, who wants to be that kid in school? No one. And basically, I ended up having this surgery. And the first surgery that I had, what happened is I had this scar on my neck. And I went back, basically, and they said that you have a lymph node that's dropped in your jugular. So we're going to have to actually have another surgery that's going to be a longer surgery because it's a higher risk. And I remember that moment like it was yesterday, because I was like, what? Like, higher risk? What is this? And I remember when I was going to school already, the first day that I went back to school after my first surgery, this guy came up to me, and I was dating someone who at the time was African American. And this guy came up to me and he said, hey, I just want to ask you, did your Black boyfriend try to cut you? And I share this story with you is because I remember at 14, I had all this anger rush over me of like, how does someone think in a way that they would think that just because my boyfriend's a different color, I would be cut instead of like having cancer, all this stuff. And I was mortified and I was crying and I had all these things happen. So what do you know? Now I have to get another surgery. It's going to make the scar even bigger. And I had like all these kids asking me questions. And so the second surgery came and went. And, you know, from the very first time they told me I was going to be on medication for the rest of my life and that it'd be very hard for me to have kids when I tried to have them. And so I remember I went back to school and basically like a lot of boys would call me ugly. They would ask me if I tried to kill myself. Like they'd say all these really, really crazy things to me. And I remember this made me really angry, and it also made me really, really inspired. So this work is so important in the world. So I go and have this, and basically I was like, from this point, I wanted to be this like super successful woman. And I was like, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to create all the success in my life because I don't want anyone to ever feel like this. And then there was another time I had to go to the hospital, and this was for radiation. And when I was there, I was with a little girl. And with this little girl, we were playing with these play cubes. And all of a sudden, her dad was in the room with her mom. And her dad looked over at her mom when her and I were playing with the cubes. And he said to her, the only reason that we can't pay for our daughter's treatment is because you're a stay-at-home mom. And I remember when I heard that, like, I was like, wow. And that was one of a pivotal moment in my life that actually allowed me to collapse feeling anything and go into hyper successful doing mode, where I was going to do everything in my power to make the most amount of money. So that way I would never have to worry about not having money to not be able to pay for treatment, or to not have money so love wouldn't work. Because I looked in that interaction with both of them, and I thought that money allowed their love to not work. So as you can imagine, from a teenager, having this kind of mindset that I wasn't fully aware of, I had no really idea of this. This is years later of me working and coming aware of all these things. I went on a very long journey. And this journey started with me going to Michigan State University, go green, I'm a huge Spartan. And I went into business because I was like, I want to make the most money. Well, what do you know? I was like, oh, maybe hospitality. And I was like, no, it's not enough money. And I go, okay, like finance I really like, but I want to have more people. So I go, okay, I'm going to do marketing because then I can get into sales. And sales will let me make like the most money, and then I can control my finances and do all the things. I don't know if any of you can relate to that when you've been like, oh my God, I'm doing all these things and whatever else that it is. And so basically from that point, I had internships since the age of 18. And I worked for a company called Enterprise, which is a rent-a-car. It's a huge company. It's still family owned. And I was the #1 sales intern that summer at the Detroit airport with sales. Went back because I stayed with them, and I worked in East Lansing, and again was like the #2 sales intern in the whole region of Michigan. And again, I was like, okay, I'm being very successful. I was like this hyper successful person that was like the chair, community service chair, vice president, president of the largest business organization at Michigan State. So in my third year there, I worked for a $23 billion company as a sales engineer. Like, well, I'm not an engineer, but I know sales. And then this way I can be a woman in a male-dominated field and make all of the impact, and all the difference is going to be all better. And so I lived in Arizona for 3 months. Had amazing sales there, had amazing opportunity. And then I started working for this $23 billion company full time right after I graduated with like a salary of $70,000, company car, like a moving expense was like $10,000. Like it was like money that's crazy to be having at like 21 years old. And I remember like I was making 6 figures. I was traveling all over the country. Like it was amazing. Like I had all these amazing things that were going on. And it was like, what more could you want? I was hyper successful. I had all these things. I was out partying. I did like the corporate jets, like everything, like I had it. And I remember there was a moment basically when right after I graduated, there was a guy that I fell madly in love with. And basically what happened from that situation is I had this thing in my brain, right, that the more money that I would make, that the relationship would work. Because, right, if I had money, back to that story, then I would have love. And I don't know if any of you can relate to this in different ways. And I'll get into this of why it's so important. But I'm really sharing this with you because this is real parts of my life that has made this so impactful to me. This is what drives me. This is what inspires me. And I hope with each of you in this story, you're finding parts of yourself that drive you or inspire you, because that's the only thing that will keep us moving forward for that impact. And so anyway, I was basically in this place with this guy I was dating, and his friend came up to me and sexually grabbed my hair. And I was like, whoa, stop. What are you doing? And my partner at the time said it was all my fault and said I was being dramatic and all of these things. And I remember that moment like it was yesterday. Like I was sitting there with him and he's like screaming at me how it was my fault that this happened. And I just got promoted. So I was moving from Michigan to Houston, and then that's where I had my first job with that company, where I grew that territory 0 to $1 million in 8 months. And then this situation happened, and I just got promoted to move to Baltimore, Maryland. So I was making more money. So I was like, well, love will work. It's okay that he yelled at me. It's okay this happened. Like I'm making more money, so love will work. And I went over there and I went to Maryland, and I ended up being in a totally emotionally abusive relationship with this person. And I remember I was partying all the time. I was like doing drugs recreationally. And yet I grew my territory 5 million to 8 million in 8 months. Again, like 22, 23 years old. And I was doing all of these amazing things. And I remember I came home, I closed my largest deal at the time. It was $800,000. It was all men in the room. It was just like not my vibe. And I remember that I am driving my way home, and I called my partner to like tell him, and it was just like nothing, no excitement, anything. And I remember I sat there and I was like, you know what? I really have to change my life, because I did not make it through cancer for this to be my reality. This is not making a difference with equality. This is not making a difference with the injustices I've seen with the healthcare system. This is not me feeling happy and excited. This is toxic behavior. And I was like, I have to change something. Like I have to do something. And in that moment, I came home, I like fell on my couch and I was like crying. It was like this blue couch. And I was like, what do you want me to do? Like I literally was sitting there like, what do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do? And in that moment, I got like a intuitive download, or an intuitive, like those things you can't explain thing. It was like, go Google visas, because the thing is I wanted to live international. Well, I lived international, and I like multiple times. I'd been to like 20 something countries at the time, and I Googled visas, and the first thing that comes up with New Zealand. And I was like, that's it. I'm going to apply for New Zealand visa. It was $20. And if I get it, I'm going to go. And so basically I started writing or typing it out. I applied for the visa, and within 24 hours, I got the visa. And I was like, that's it. Like I'm saving my money for 3 months, and I'm going to just go. I'm going. Like I'm leaving this corporate job that's super successful. It has me like the company car, the healthcare, everything. Because at that time, like if we had pre-existing conditions, we like couldn't get healthcare. And like all this stuff I was leaving. Like it was really like a huge shock to my system, because it's like nothing of it made logical sense. Not one bit of it made logical sense. And why, I'll tell you why international, why traveling is traveling throughout my life has always saved me. Traveling throughout my life has always been like a creation, and it's been a place that's allowed me to see that we're all one, and that I can truly be whoever I desire and express that, and I'm going to be okay. I'm going to meet phenomenal people. I'm going to create amazing experiences. And so travel to me is like a non-negotiable in my life for me to be a sustainable human. And that's something that I think we all need to be real with ourselves about, is what's something in our life that we need so we can be sustainable humans. basically like saved these 3 months, saved money. And I was like, oh my God, what is going to happen? I was like having anxiety every day, like crying, all this stuff. And I don't know if you guys can relate to that or like anything, or if you guys are relating to any of this. I'd love to hear your comments if you are or you aren't, because I know I'm sharing a lot, but it's really important to go into this, of why it's so important to go into why these 3 key variables will relate. And basically from that time of when I got all my stuff and I was saving for 3 months, I gave away 28 trash bags of clothes to the Red Cross. And there's actually a little girl that was there when I was going to, and she wanted these pink shoes that I had. And so I actually gave the little girl these shoes, and that little girl and I are still friends to this day. And she'll email me and be like, I'm waiting for the shoes to fit me so I can wear them to whatever, because she's much younger and they're a size 8. And I was like, they'll be ready soon. Like, your feet will be ready soon. And I had so much fulfillment and releasing like all the superficial kind of things that I thought I needed, but I never really needed. And so I gave it all away. I was like having anxiety every single day, and off I go to New Zealand basically. And on my plane ride over there, I'm like having a full-on anxiety attack, like crying, like everything, like, oh my God, what's going on? Like it was intense. And I remember thinking to myself, what if I fail? Like, what if this is the biggest fucking mistake in my life and I'm a total failure? Like, I just left the best job ever, like making amazing money, and like I'm a total loser. I go over here and like have to do things that I don't even know how to do. And I remember, and I was like, of course that's not going to happen. Of course that's not going to happen. And I was repeating that mantra over and over and over, what I do desire. And so anyway, I landed in New Zealand with my little suitcases. I was like, okay, here we go. And I got an Airbnb for a month, knew nobody in the country. And I scheduled a recruiting interview. And in that interview, I was like looking for a job. And what do you know, within 4 weeks of being there, I manifested a job with the #1 leader in global demand response as an account manager covering Australia and New Zealand. And I was making 6 figures. I was like, holy shit. In 4 weeks, did I literally just find like a replaceable thing to what I was doing? Like, just like that. And I was like, but of course I did. And so anyway, I got to travel all over Australia and New Zealand. It was like a multi-million-dollar territory again, that I was looking over everything and learning about these things and traveling, and it was amazing. And again, I started running into this thing of like, okay, is this really what I'm meant to do? Like, I'm traveling, it's great. Like, this is fun, and I hate what I'm doing. Like, what's the point of this? And so I was like, had one thing, but I didn't have the other thing. I was like, okay, so let me really try to figure this out. So that's when I went to an entrepreneur retreat, which was in November of 2017 for my first time ever. And from that time, when I was in Fiji, I remember I showed up and I was like, I just want to spread some love in the world. I just really want to help people find love, make impact, and like make some money while they're living with love. And these people looked at me like I was batshit crazy. Like, they were like, oh my God, who is this girl? And to top it off, it was an all New Zealand entrepreneur retreat. So when I went there, I was the only American. They're like, oh God, who is this crazy American? Like, literally, this is how it felt. And I still did it. I was still committed to that love. Like, I was still committed to that purpose. I was still committed to whatever that was deep inside of myself. And that takes these variables I'm going to go over. However, I'm going to share with you, once I went to that entrepreneur retreat, I learned so much. And I was like, that's it. I'm writing my first book, which is Live Your Truth. And I had 3 parts to it: find your truth, speak your truth, live your truth. And I was like, I'm going to start a business online while I travel the world, and I'm going to impact so many people to start doing this epic life the same. And what do you know? It has been, obviously, we're in 2019, August, almost 2 years later from that retreat. And I have been to like close to 20 countries. I've been to almost probably 40 cities. I have written a book. I've finished my master's, as I said, in global technology and development. I just got that to be published academically, which is so exciting. I am going to be starting my PhD in August of 2020. I've spoken at numerous retreats. I've shared the stage with like Lace Brown. I've impacted hundreds of clients all over to start anywhere from their like first steps of thinking outside the box to someone having their first $1 million month. And so I just want to tell you this story to show you what's possible. Like, my life was so different 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I would never be sitting here, like, in my wildest dreams, thinking that I would be sitting here talking with each of you, like, about this and showing you that this can be your life, like, truly can be your life. And so after hearing that, I guess, let me know if you can relate. Let me know if there's parts in it that you have questions on, or there's something you'd like to know before I move into the 3 secrets that I really want to tell you about how I did this, what I've realized after I've looked at my life. I've literally integrated it. I've looked at the details. I've like researched it and understand the 3 variables into how you truly can make a massive impact by monetizing your passions on social media so that you can live a freedom lifestyle. And I'm really passionate about this. I'm so devoted to everyone's success that I come into contact with. So if there's any questions about that story, before I get into the 3 things, which I know you're so excited about, let me know. Or if you just want to give me hearts or say something about anything, I would so appreciate it, because that is so vulnerable and epic for me to share. And I'm so proud of everyone here. And we always get to be proud of the steps that we're taking. Kathy, I'm excited that you're here. Okay, so there's no questions for anyone on the live. Then I'm going to go into the first secret that I really wanted to talk to you about. Kathy, I love you. You're amazing. And Rachel, welcome. I didn't see you before. Okay, the first secret that I really want to go into: how to gain clarity on your purpose so you can become an undeniable magnet to attracting your dream lifestyle. So I know this sounds like super silly, and people a lot of times are like, oh my God, like, you can't just attract things, you have to do things, or whatever that it is. And I want to tell you how to make a massive impact. A massive impact means that you are attracting people into your tribe. A massive impact means that you are magnetizing. People are so excited to be around you. People are loving you, want to hug you. Like, people are raving about you. And making a massive impact, that means that it's not just you. There's other people around you. There's more people that are in this journey with you, that are propelling this journey forward with you. So I want to tell you a quick story about this, of how to gain clarity on your purpose so that you can become an undeniable magnet to attracting your dreams. So when I moved to New Zealand, as I told you, there's one thing that I didn't tell you. I moved to New Zealand, and when I went to New Zealand, I had my suitcases, and I was like so excited, right? Like, I was so excited for life. I was so happy that everyone was going to be like, all my friends were going to make FaceTiming. I was like showing them all the things and everything. Well, I got to New Zealand, and that wasn't the case. My friends like didn't talk to me. My friends like weren't reaching out and asking me how I was integrating. My friends literally didn't even say like, Colleen, like nothing. Like, my friends just had nothing to say. Like, no reply, no anything. And I'm like heartbroken, because here I am across the world, not just in a new state, like across the world, with no one being like, hey, how are you? Like, just checking in. Nothing. And meanwhile, when I did this, 2 of my friends recently quit their job, when they were the ones that like, you can't do this, you can't go, you can't follow your dreams. And I remember sitting there, and I was like, you know what? Screw this, that all these people aren't reaching out to me and aren't asking me and aren't doing that. Like, I'm never again going to be put in my life where I feel this rejected, this alone, this isolated. Never again. I'm not ever going to do it. So what did I do when that happened? What did I choose to do? I built these little walls around me to make basically no one close to me. Like, I wouldn't let anyone in. Like, I was like, no, I can do this all by myself. Like, I don't need anyone. I'm going to just have this be done, you know, whatever that it is. And so, or whatever, like, I'm just going to be me doing my thing in New Zealand with my job in Australia, like having my own friends, but I'm not going to let these people close. So that way I never have to feel rejected again. Don't know if you guys can relate to that, or if you may have done that before subconsciously. And the thing that I realized about becoming an undeniable magnet is, right when I was in New Zealand, I lived in Auckland first, which is like their biggest city. It's 1 million people. And then my job wanted me to move to Wellington, which was their capital. So I had to like move out of one place, look for a new place. Anyway, whatever. So anyway, I'm looking for a new place, and what do you know? I end up walking in and there's these two amazing guys. It's like on the river or on the ocean. And this guy's wearing a Michigan t-shirt. And I went to Michigan State, but still I was like, oh my God, like, you know, Michigan. And here I am, like, in this place. And we totally like all got along and instantly right then like became flatmates. Well, what do you know from then? I still was like putting up walls. Like, I'm not gonna let anyone close to me. I'm not gonna be rejected. I'm not gonna let anyone like really see who I am. Because if I were to do that, if I were to truly do that, people would know too much, and then my purpose could be rejected. People could see that I'm just this love girl. They could see that I'm just this sweet, like, whatever, and maybe take advantage of me. They could just call me to fix all their problems. Like, if they really knew how big my purpose was, if they really knew that I was here to like empower people, help people travel, like, if people knew that was my purpose and they rejected me, it's just too painful. So I'm not gonna let anyone in. So I went on with this for a while, and like a couple months. And so basically my shower was broken one day, and I was like, shit. And I was like, well, I don't want to tell these guys. I don't even think I'm like some high maintenance American, you know, like my shower broke. So I was like, oh shit. So I let it go for like a week, but I was like, okay, I really need to like have this be fixed, because it's like water that was going. So I tell one of my flatmates, I go over, I go, hey, like, I'm really sorry. This probably sounds a little high maintenance, but my shower's broken, you know, could you help me fix it? And he's like, oh yeah, I got it. So anyway, this guy was like training for a world triathlon at the time. And anyway, he comes over and spends a whole day, like, went training, and then spends a whole day fixing my shower, like grout, all this. Oh my God, I didn't even know how to do it. I was like, what is this? And so he's fixing it the whole day. And I remember I was like, okay, so to make this equal, because obviously I cannot just receive, it has to be equal. I have to give something back. I have to push something back, right? I can't just receive from my purpose. I can't just receive from me being here. I can't just receive because something's not perfect. Like, I can't just do that. I have to give something back right away. So I was like, okay, I'll buy us dinner later tonight. And he goes, no, I'm going to make us dinner because I want you to feel like so safe in New Zealand and like welcomed. My mouth dropped, like literally my jaw. I was like, did he just say after he fixed my shower that he's about to make dinner? Like, this just can't be right. This is like not okay. This goes against everything, because he cannot see that I can't do this on my own. He cannot see that. And I was so like intense in this. And I remember it was like such a profound moment for me. And I sat there, I remember when I'm like eating this food, and I was like, okay, I'm living my purpose where I'm traveling the world. I was so anxious about this not working. Not only did I get an amazing job that's traveling me everywhere, not only did I then find the most amazing flat, which I literally didn't have to do that much work for, with the guy has a Michigan hoodie on. Not only was there something wrong with my flat, the other flatmate fixed my shower and cooked my dinner. All while I was traveling the world. All while I was making it very simple and living my life. The key to this is that when you truly are living your purpose, you'll become an undeniable magnet to those experiences. You'll become an undeniable magnet to those people. You know, another thing to really hone that in that I wanted to share with you is right when I was leaving New Zealand and we were saying our goodbyes and that we had a little going out party, I remember I was so afraid to be called a unicorn, or so afraid to show this magical, mystical part of me. And I know that if you're connected with me, you have that magical, mystical part of you. Like, you see creatures, you hear things, like there's a deep part of you that does that. And you can feel really ashamed of it because the world has had it that way. What I want to tell you is that I remember when I was leaving, I had these sticky notes that I made of all these unicorns and all these things, and I placed them on all my doors. And what do you know? It's almost been 2 years later, and about 2 months ago, one of my flatmates messaged me, and he still has the sticky notes on his door. And I just wanted to share with you with that I didn't even know that was my purpose, and I didn't even know the world of magic, or that was my truth at that time. But when you really hone in on your purpose in every small moment, those moments, financially, prosperity, wisdom, bliss, excitement, joy, those things naturally show up in your life. And so how to gain the clarity on your purpose so you can become an undeniable magnet to attracting your dream lifestyle. is truly being yourself in all those small moments. Any questions on that? I know that was a big one. I'd love to hear if there's any questions or anyone had anything that they wanted to share on that, or there's any notes they needed me to go over. And the more that you guys interact, the more it makes me super excited. So if there's anything, and Rachel, welcome back. I think you dropped off. So that was a huge transformational moment in my life. And I hope if I can offer you anything of how to make a massive impact on this world by understanding how to monetize your passions on social media so you can live a freedom lifestyle, is to gain clarity on your purpose. And in the gaining clarity on your purpose, that is when you'll become an undeniable magnet. The second part that I really desire to go into with this, that is so important, that is so huge, that is so expansive, that is so exciting, is how to build your courage so that you can leverage social media as a business tool. Now, some of you I know might be like, Colleen, you just told me this crazy story about your life, and like, I'm not that courageous, or like, I have all these limiting beliefs about whatever that it is. And what I want to tell you is building your courage is so much easier than you think. Building your courage is such a gift. It's such a wonderful thing that we put in our minds that we have fear. We put all these stories in us. So the thing with how to build your courage is, I want to tell you another quick story. Is that okay with you guys if I tell you another quick story with this? I'd love to be able to tell you this so you can hear it. The thing that is super, super potent about building your courage, I like to use Ellen DeGeneres as an example. You know, Ellen DeGeneres, when she was like first coming out, was like when sitcoms was huge. Like the guy meets the girl, you have the family, you're all sitting in the house, you have the 9 to 5, like all this stuff, right? That's like basically all of us are rebelling against. And, you know, I love looking at Ellen DeGeneres for this because, you know, she was someone in the time of sitcoms. She was the first one to really come out and say she was a lesbian, which goes against the 9 to 5. It goes against like just your average daily whatever. And that takes courage, right? That took some balls for her to do. And she was ostracized. Like she was like literally slayed for like saying that. Like almost lost her career, everything, when like all of this stuff happened to her. But when you look at it now, she's one of the most successful comedians on the planet. She has like one of the best shows. I don't even know how much money she's given away to people and how much philanthropy work that she's done. It's amazing. And I think that it's really important when we talk about how to build your courage. And I think with Ellen DeGeneres, when you look at this, is Ellen DeGeneres, when she started at sitcoms, when Ellen DeGeneres started, when she said, let me share this about my life, or let me share this about who I truly am. And when Ellen DeGeneres continuously did that time over time, even though she lost all this stuff, she created a life that was truly allowing her to influence in the way that she desired. She truly created a life that attracted the love of her life. When you look at it, like she's happily married for a long time. They have an amazing marriage, most people perceive or know, and she's impacting the world in a way that no one ever could. And so when we talk about courage, you know, even when I look at my things with New Zealand, how did I move to New Zealand when I'm just a girl from Michigan? You know, how did that happen? And with Ellen DeGeneres, it's not like one day she just woke up and said, I'm going to do this. There's something that I like to call this, which is called connecting the dots. You build your courage when you connect the dots. And what I mean by connecting the dots is that when you look at my life, for an example, I knew that I wanted to travel. I knew that was important to me. I knew I wanted to live international. Well, so what did I do? I set it up where I was able to, you know, move from Arizona for 3 months. Then after college, I moved to Texas. Then I moved to Maryland. Never been to Texas before moving there. Never been to Maryland before moving there. And so I set it up so I was ready to move to New Zealand. I didn't do that on purpose, but when you connect the dots, when I sat there like, can I do this? Can I move to a new country? Of course I can. I've been to so many countries. I've lived in countries before. I've moved to 2 states that I never knew. I connected the dots into building that courage, so I knew I could do it. So when I was having the anxiety, when I was having the doubts, when I was having all those stories in my mind, I was ready. Ellen DeGeneres, she didn't just come out one day. She was building and building and building that courage. And then she realized in enough small moments, whether she told friends, whether she told whatever, she was building those small moments that when she was ready, she could go out and share it. When she went on Oprah, do you think that she was fully courageous and ready? And they had a conversation? No. But she could look at the connecting the dots. She knew that she was, if she went on Oprah for that show that she did, she was going to be rejected. But she was ready because she'd been rejected by all these people already. She's been rejected by other friends. And she connected those dots because she was so committed to her purpose, into her passion, into her impact of equality on this planet. And if you are nervous or scared, I ask you to look at your commitment to what it is that you truly desire. Because if you have an unwavering faith that you know you're here to do something, you know deep down you would rather die than something not be done. Like for me, I would rather die than not travel. I would rather die than not be teaching or educating or empowering. And if you don't have an unwavering faith of something, I ask you to look at your mirror and ask yourself what it is. Because that courage, that connecting the dots is exactly what's going to get you into understanding how to leverage social media as a tool. We live in a new era. We live in an era where in 2030, majority of the population is going to be under 30 years of age. That means they don't know the difference between oxygen and a phone. That means if you're a business, if you're a brand, if you aren't creating something that is not on there and you are in a developed nation or even developing, you don't have infrastructure that you're setting up, no one will know you. No one's going to know what you care about. You don't need to be, a huge political leader or the UN or all these people. You don't need to be that in order to make an impact. You simply showing up and using your voice to have the ripple effect is enough. Just like Ellen DeGeneres showing up that one time, that was enough. And building your courage time after time after time like that in an accumulating way is what's going to allow you to stand in front of a computer or a phone and talk to people that need to hear what you have to say, that need to hear where they can go, what is possible for them. And so I truly believe this is one of the most impactful things you can ever do in your life is building your courage. So you can truly start to see not only on social media, but for whatever it is you deeply care about, that can be shared on social media so that you can use it as a business tool because you are a business owner and you can be in charge of your own financial destiny. Any questions on that one before I move to number 3? The last one. Any questions? Any questions? I know that was an intense one, but it's a super, super important one. All right, there's nothing. Then the third one, how to start to demand. I'm going to say this again. How to start to demand your dreams into your reality so you can conquer the world too. Now, there's a story that I want to tell you with this because I know I've shared some stories with you already, but this is a very, very important one. And that word demand is very important. So a lot of times I meet people all over the world and they tell me, Colleen, my dreams aren't coming true, or Colleen, whatever it is. And I go, they tell me this languaging. And I go, well, of course, your dreams are coming true. Like, look at how you're talking to yourself. Look how you're talking to me. I know if you're saying this to me, I can only imagine what's going on in your mind. So I want to tell you this. So a couple of things I left out about my story. I have a lot of things I've left out. But when I was moving from Baltimore to New Zealand, what I didn't tell you is I was leaving in exactly 90 days when I got that visa, because I know the importance of, 90-day habits. So anyway, I go into basically this thing, or this 90-day habit. And I realized that the time I was leaving, I was going to miss the time I was leaving my job. I was going to miss a $15,000 commission check because it was after the 90 days. So I had two options. I could cancel and do stay later than the 90 days, which I know wouldn't have been in integrity, or I could have stayed the 90 days and gotten that. Or like more. So I sat there and I meditated and I prayed and I was like, what do I do? And I was like, Colleen, if you stay for that money, your New Zealand's not going to work out. It's like, okay, well, New Zealand's working out, so I guess I'm forgoing $15,000. So I remember at that time, I left, I forgoed my $15,000 off, I went to New Zealand. What do you know? Demanded my dreams into reality, got a job with the #1 demand response in the world, $400 million company, making 6 figures, traveling all over Australia and New Zealand, got promoted in 3 months to cover Asia Pacific, so Taiwan, Korea, Japan, New Zealand, Australia. And what do you know? From that place, again, I had my entrepreneur retreat, right? I was like, okay, I'm giving myself 90 days. What do you know? Again, the 90 days hit where I was missing a $12,000 commission check from that company. So, okay, am I going to stay for the money or am I going to do this? And remember, I left with $5,000 in my bank account. So we're talking about a big astronomical difference that would have been $12,000 plus $5,000 or just $5,000 that I had in my bank account at the time. And I prayed, got the answer, and it was like, Colleen, if you stay for this money, you're going to be sabotaged later. Like, are you crazy? This is crazy. There's no way that I can forgo this money, right? Well, what do you know? I forgot that money, and I've had an extremely successful business over the last 2 years. I've made it to multiple 6 figures. I've impacted all these people. And I truly believe if I would have stayed somewhere just for the money, if I would have stayed instead of demanding my dreams into reality, instead of being like, this is what I choose, this is what I'm calling in, this is what I am, this is who I am, and this is what I'm doing, I'm demanding this becomes my reality. Like, I would sit there and be like, I demand I travel the world and I impact people and I can monetize that. I demand that. And I remember I would sit there and demand and demand and demand. And when I left that job in New Zealand, I had the $5,000 in my bank account. You know, there was a time when I was having my first program and I was trying to offer it and all this stuff, and no one was buying. No one was working. I was like, great, like I'm a total freaking failure. Like, no one believes in love. This was so stupid. How am I supposed to monetize this? Oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, at that point, like a couple months after, I was like, well, that $12,000 would be real nice right now. And I brought myself being like, what am I not seeing? Where am I choosing to misalign to something? I remember I would sit there and I would demand and demand and demand, like demanding, show me how this is supposed to be my reality. Show me how this is supposed to be my reality. Show me how this is supposed to be my reality. What do you know? I was in Hawaii when I almost was sure I didn't know my business was going to work. I thought I was going to have to like just do something else. And what did I do? I started looking at my master's. As soon as I enrolled and applied for my master's, my first huge few clients that I got. Because I demanded to know what my purpose was. I demanded to know what the impact was. I demanded that. And from that demanding, I would still show up on social media. I would still monetize, like sharing what I was passionate about. And that is what allowed me to create a sustainable freedom lifestyle. Allowed me to go to Europe, allowed me to go to Asia, allowed me to go to New Zealand again. All of these places. Doesn't mean you're not going to have a moment where you're not sure. But when you're truly demanding your dreams into reality, you will conquer the world as well. So those are the 3 secrets that I wanted to share. And do you have any, like, are you guys excited, or do you have any questions about any of them with these 3 variables? Because I still have something very, very exciting to share with you. That's a huge bonus that I did not share about this call or this webinar or anything. And I'm super, super excited to be sharing this. So does anyone have any questions about those 3 at all before I go into the bonus or any of it? You can put it in the chat. Anything that anyone wants to share even. When I have demanded my dreams, I've gotten my best results. Wonder why I've stopped doing it. Exactly, exactly. Sometimes it can be a distraction, sometimes it can be different things. But when you demand, it happens. I love that, Kathy. Okay, so I have super, super exciting things, because now, after probably listening to this, you're like, Colleen, okay, that's great. You've told me your story. You told me these 3 variables. You told me stories, how these like 3 things, have come true. Now, how are they about to work for you? Like, how are they about to work for me? That's probably what you're thinking in your head. And the one thing I really wanted to show you, or I really wanted to talk about is, you might be being like, Colleen, like, that's great. This is your life, and it's not going to work for me. That's just not going to happen. And I want to actually show you something of all the people that this has worked for. And I'm just going to show you a small portion of this, but I want to show you, this is just some of the people that this has worked for, and their business has blown up. They have been able to dive through deep blocks of showing up on social media. This is Missy. Dion, who was able to actually hit his first 5K month within 1 month of starting his online journey after leaving corporate. Chris, who was able to see a totally different perspective in life. Tanya was able to totally get over fear that has gone in her life and allowed her to, shortly after that, reach 6 figures in her business. Erin, within 8 weeks, was able to truly get her first client online that she'd never met, someone she never even knew, and do that. Mikhail, he sells these glasses, and he was able to get into a huge music festival after this. There's all these people all over that I can tell you these variables, these things of impacting the world, all these people have used social media in different capacities, and every single one of them is at some point living a freedom lifestyle. Jessica, skiing. Well, after working together for like 2 weeks, she was able to offer something to firefighters and allow herself to be skiing while monetizing her life. These are people after people after people after people that I have that have been able to truly change their life. And I'm so honored to share that with you, because it's something that I don't take lightly, and it's something that I want to show you that it is possible. This is not just me making this up of some modern day fairy tale or some modern thing that's like only Colleen Gallagher can do it. Like, each of you have the capacity to do this. Each of you have the availability. And that's what makes this so magical, is this truly can be your life. And the thing that I want to share with you after this, I have something super, 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 super exciting, something super exciting to share of how you can do this, how everyone else has been able to do this. I've never, ever, 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 ever offered this in this way before. And I'm super excited to share this with you. So you guys ready to hear what I have to share? Are you ready? Yeah. Maybe yes, hopefully. Yes, I hope you are, because I'm super excited about this. Like I said, I've never offered this in this way. So the biggest thing that I've seen that has guided people with how to make a massive impact on this planet by monetizing their passions on social media so that they can make a massive impact is through a 6-week program that I have that is called Live Your Truth. And in this program, it is absolutely epic. It's one of the most magical things that I've ever created. And it goes through each of these 3 variables, like tactical things to implement. And in this, I want to show you this, actually, if that would be great with you all. I wanted to show you this because I think it's so important to see this for yourself and what really goes on behind the scenes when you join this. So one thing that I wanted to show you is, here it is. It's called Live Your Truth. And in this Live Your Truth, it's a 6-week program, and each week has different modules. So it's broken out, as I mentioned, into finding your truth, speaking your truth, and living your truth. And so in this first part, when you get access to this, this is how it looks. And you basically get access to this, which is part 1, the key to your heart. And as we kind of talked about throughout this, finding your purpose, having clarity and conviction on your purpose, knowing that clarity of what is that thing, like what is that thing that's going to keep you motivated, wired, going. That's what you find out in week 1. Like in this week alone, right here, aspire to dream the treasure hunt and your true compass. We boil down with conviction and clarity the one word that you will know without a shadow of a doubt is going to allow you to impact this planet and know if what you're doing is providing you sustainable happiness or it's not. And the things look like this. Each one has a PowerPoint, and it has like about 5 to 10 minute audio that you're able to listen to. And from this audio that you're able to listen to, each of them, when you scroll down here, there's roadmap workbooks that look like this. And in this, you go through, and through the audio, you write down different things. You have different things that you do. And basically from this place, you're able to go through each of these with how to find the clarity on your truth, which is the very first one. What is it? Because many of you may be like, Colleen, this is great. You have all this success, but I don't have any idea where to freaking start. I have no clarity. I have no idea. So that's this first part. This is the key to your heart. The second part we really do is the modern day Walt Disney. And this is super exciting because here we really allow you, going through the past, present, and future, we really allow you to then see how you truly can be the creator of your life. Like you can really create a modern day world of fairies, of magic, of creatures, of whatever it is you want, of your impact, of your financial freedom, of understanding everything that you need to know about yourself as a creator and moving through any past limiting beliefs that are truly not allowing you to live in alignment to your greater purpose. Like all the story that I shared with you, all the shit that I had to go through and all the shit that I've released and all the shit that you can also release to really be in a place where you can show up as this magnificent, amazing, beautiful human. And so that's week 2. Week 3 is called creating the magic. And this is where we really start to go into speaking your truth. And we go over here of this is choices, momentum, and magic. And here we really go into the depth of what is it you want to speak? What is it you're here to speak? And how do you start using social media in a way that's going to allow you to create the magic? And I go over the exact tools, the exact simple strategies that I use to be able to truly start to live your truth. Momentumly, massively, excitingly, whatever that it is for you. And so I really, really desire for you to be able to go through this, be able to be here and understand the importance of how you can create the magic, of how you can make new choices, how you can gain momentum, how you can tap into a world of magic that you don't even know is probably possible yet. The fourth part, week 4, becoming the one. So here, again, we're still in speaking your truth, but we really look at light within darkness, being the love and real love. Because especially on social media, as it's a tool that's going to guide you, inspire you, empower you, whatever that it is, this is understanding how love is the center of everything. This is very deep into the spiritual practice, into the journey of the heart, and why being centered and being grounded in that place is going to allow you to speak your truth with conviction, with confidence, with that courage that Ellen has, or that courage that I've showed you time and time again that I have, that courage to leave huge financial abundance in order to follow your dreams, knowing that it's going to come, but you're not sure yet how. That conviction, that excitement, that is when you become the one. Become the one for yourself. Become the one that you know you're meant to be on this planet. Week number 5 is called Intoxicator. And in my first book, the reason I called it Intoxicator is because it's someone who looks within themselves and you remove the toxic and you become what's left. You're becoming that in the world tour. And I really love this word for this poem because it really was deep, like intoxicate the world with love and live your world with love. And in this one, I allow you to see how easy it is from finding your truth. Now you're speaking that into your everyday existence in the coffee shop, and social media, both. And now you're really seeing how that's going to have a ripple effect in the world. And I promise you, as I just showed you all those testimonies, like this will transform your life. This will transform your life in 6 weeks in ways you can't even imagine. So that's week 5. And then week 6, which I think is super, super important, is a lot of times we do these things and we're like, oh my God, it's so great, or whatever that it is. And it's not sustainable. We don't hold ourselves accountable. We don't find a way to keep the momentum going. And so here we go into the magical beginning, your happiness, and the happy ending. Basically what this is we go into the magical beginning, you declaring, you demanding what it is you're calling in, you demanding that over and over and over again from the world. And then we go into your happiness. And then we go into the happy ending. And that is allowing you, both your happiness and the happy ending, to go into the programming, the languaging that you're speaking to yourself and how you're showing up in the world, how you're communicating, and how you can shift that so it's in a way that's more expansive for you. And then lastly, what I have in this is I've actually created 3 bonuses, which are super, super impactful, that are super amazing. And the first bonus is the code to manifest positivity. I go really deep in this in a short thing of how to have a positive mindset, how to shift everything you're going through, no matter how challenging it is, into something positive. Number 2, I go into how to become the modern day bachelor, bachelorette, because I love that. I think everyone I'm connected to, we're all such kings and queens, gods and goddesses, and it's so important to remember that and embody that and be that in every moment. And the third thing I go over is creating a checklist for power outfits. If you know me, you know I love my fashion. You know I love to always be on point. I have like this cute little style that does different things, and I allow you to see how you can create that. So every day is freaking epic for you. The other thing that's super important to share with you with this is that there's a Facebook group. So you can join the tribe of people. There's a lot of people who have already done this program, which I showed you, that you can see what they're doing. You can share what you're doing, and you're forever connected in that place. So before I go over anything else, does that make sense to everyone, what that is? Or do you have any questions on what it looks like or what it is? It's one of my greatest offerings that I've ever put together in this way. It's so expansive, so epic. And it's really in a way that you're going to understand can truly understand social media and how to live a freedom lifestyle. Any questions on it? Or any of the 3 things that I went over? Or the bonuses? Amazing. Okay, so the last part that I want to show you guys, so if you're on this webinar, only if you're on this webinar, I'm literally doing this like as a huge, huge bonus for the webinar. Let me just put this, and if you're super excited, because I'm super, super pumped to be sharing this, like next level pumped, to have this, is I'm offering something for this where you can be a part of this. And usually in the past, I've only done this where people have been able to do it with me, or people have done it on their own. And I've never really offered it in a way that's, you're included in the Facebook group where you get access to me plus whatever it is. And I want to show you with it. Usually what I offer this for is $997. That is the usual investment point of people getting access to this. And what I'm doing, if you're on this webinar, is you'll be able to get access for it for $297. Literally, it's insane. $297 is what you're going to be able to get access to it for. And this is everything it includes. So like the 6-week masterclass, you get the 100 pages of the workbook, access to a tribe, all the bonuses. And it's literally valued, like when you look at how much it's offered and what I'm valuing at, it's $11,885 that it's valued at. And all I'm offering it for is $297. And so if you're on this, or if you're seeing the replay and you're like, oh my God, I have to be in it. This is like totally my thing. I have to do this. Like, this is a yes for me, no matter what. I need to be here. Like this has to just happen for me. I want to show you how you can do this. And this is, again, a limited time only. It's not going to be like here very long. I'm not going to be offering it this way very long. But basically what you do is you go to www.colleengallagher.co/monetize impact. And I'll show you that here as well, so you each can see it. But you'll go www.colleengallagher.us/monetize impact. MONETIZEIMPACT. And when you do that, and you can just put it in your thing, so I can do it here for you. When you just go www.colleengallagher.us/monetize impact, it will take you to the page, and you can go in there and it will go right into the membership, and you get instant, immediate access for it. But again, this, like, since you're seeing this, when you see this and when you get that link sent to you, you only have 20 minutes to do it. After that, it goes back up to $997, which is the usual investment for people to be getting involved with this. So I will send that here. I can put it here even in the links so everyone can see it. clairtyonmypurpose.us/monetize impact. It's in the comments, so you can click there, you can get it, so you all have it. And it's such an honor to be here. It's such an honor sharing space with all of you. And any of you who watch this now or in the replay, I'm always available on my team on Instagram at Colleen_Gallagher_ or on Facebook at Colleen Gallagher /the Colleen Gallagher, or Facebook.com/the Colleen Gallagher, or Colleen.Gallagher111. So if you have any questions, you definitely want to go get it now before it goes back up to $997, which is the normal investment that I have for this. I've severely discounted it because I really believe in what I do. And I really believe that we're all here to make a massive impact. And this is something that I want to offer to everyone, because I remember when I was starting, as I've shared in my story, how much I've had to overcome and how much this program in my life has changed my life. And I still use tools in here. So any questions or anything from any of you before I head off? Some of the questions you may have that I was thinking of is, how do you, you can always email to get access. The Facebook group I showed you is in there. The videos and the modules and the workbooks are all there. And there are no refunds. We don't offer refunds. And the other thing that, like I said, you may be asking is if you think of things later that you want to ask me questions, please go ahead and message me. If you did want to look at something more expansive with working with myself or content that I offer, we do have those opportunities, but this is something that is strictly just for that. And you get access to me in the Facebook group if you have questions or things come up, and you get access to it for life. So when there's updates or anything that I do that will update it, like video modules or maybe other bonuses that I offer, you will get an email with updates in it for that membership site, but you have access to it for the rest of your life. So even if you're like, well, Colleen, I can't do it in 6 weeks, but maybe you could do it in 12 weeks. Perfect. You have access for life. You have access to it for the rest of your life. So you can do whatever you want. You can go back. I still have clients. Thais is the one that I showed you. She's on there. Actually, she's a fashion stylist, and she has done it twice, and she loved it both times. It was such a difference. So anyway, I'm sending you all so much love. I'm so excited, and I hope to see you in there. And know that you are so magical. You're so worthy of making a massive impact by monetizing your passions on social media so that you truly can live a freedom lifestyle. Giving you the biggest hugs in the whole world, and we'll talk with you soon.